my name is Max Stein, and I love video games.
I'm the Megabuck. I really love video games.
And I'm Raph. I also love video games.
Hey friends, Benny here. I love video games.
And welcome to the Game Treasure Podcast, where we discuss treasured video games of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in once again this week. We have a special show, Tetris. It's turning 40 this week. It only turns 40 once, folks. Those beautiful 4-block comprised shapes that
Oh my
look
God.
sexier than ever.
I never knew I was the same age as Tetris.
Oh, no.
Is that right? Oh,
Spoiler alert.
there you go.
Spoiler alert, that those screenshots that circulate the internet about the blocks having names is not accurate.
Yeah, I read about that.
Squiggly.
Yeah,
Do
like
they not?
I think one of them was like
Squiggly.
Orange L or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, come on, there's no way they
Square.
named that
Steve
one Orange L.
T-block.
That's just too on the nose.
Everybody knows Dan the Long
X.
One.
Line piece.
Line.
AKA,
Line piece.
AKA my hero.
Old college humor video.
Oh, I didn't know that. But we're also going to be talking about Animal Well. We'll get more
Nice.
on that later. This game is it a Metroidvania game? Is it a puzzle game? It's, according to Video Game Donkey, it's an open well type game.
Open well. Every good Metroidvania is puzzle adjacent.
But
Puzzle adjacent is right.
before we get into that, RetroGameTreasure.com and the Megabuck are going to take us back in time. Buck, hit me with some gusto.
Let's go back in time. Don't know if you boys have been following the news, but Mike Tyson has an ulcer.
Have you seen
and
this in the news?
They
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
They postponed the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight until he's well again at
no
his
fucking way.
medical team's discretion and whatnot.
I did not know this.
So fuck that. We're gonna get an upgrade and play some Super Punch Out.
Oh, fuck. One of the all-time
Yeah,
greats.
baby. I adore that game.
If most everybody's heard of Mike Tyson's Punch Out, the more popular one for the
It's
NES.
fine. It's
And
good.
then the later re-release of just Punch Out for the NES with Mr. Dream, which is just a palette swapped Mike Tyson with like cream colored skin. It's
I
hilarious.
don't think I've played that one.
It's so goofy.
It's
It's
just
the same
featuring
except
Mr.
for
Dream.
Mike Tyson, right? Yeah.
It's called Punch Out featuring
Yeah.
Mr. Dream because the license ran
That's
out.
cool.
I don't know.
That's
Anyway,
cool.
not as many people have played the upgraded version for the Super Nintendo Super Punch Out, featuring a lot of the other characters like Bald Bull, Mr. Sandman, and whatnot, but no Mike Tyson.
King Hippo is in this one, or is that
He's not in this
is-
one.
no? What's
but
the
he's-
one
no.
that's like an
Super
homage to
Macho
King
Man.
Hippo in this one? He's
Bear
also
Hugger?
got like a
Bear Hugger is one of the
he's
ones.
got like
in
a
this,
belly
yes.
button puzzle where you gotta punch his belly when he's
so there's a clown. There's the clown. Shoot,
the
what's his name?
clown. That's
Yes.
right.
And Bear Hugger as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
that you're thinking of probably.
he farts. I think when you punch him or something like this. I don't know.
This I mean, I would also call, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I would call Punch Out almost a puzzle adjacent game because it's
Interesting.
like an active game of Simon, right?
Yeah, I was gonna. When you said that, my head thought, well, it's more like a rhythm game, but no, you're
Okay.
actually right. It is kind of like a game of Simon because it's a call and response. The really good people that play it is
Yeah.
the call and response. For me, it's just living on the edge of your seat at all times because I'm the worst at memorization in the entire planet.
Yeah,
But continue. Sorry.
No, this. I mean, if you didn't play this, I mean, again, we always talk about how cartoony the SNES was, and boy, did this game translate well to that. The Ryan brothers were the two bosses of the two final circuits, and it got very, very complicated with their techniques and their moves and the mix-ups that they would throw. It way more, I think, than just Mike Tyson's. Mike Tyson, everybody
Really?
had a gimmick for the most part, but once you fought Heike Kagero, there's no going back.
You think that has something to do with the fact that the SNES was able to make more detailed animations, so they were able to throw more difficult to observe moves at you, perhaps?
I mean, it was definitely a little smarter. What were you gonna say, Raph?
Interesting.
you would like with more subtle frames, I guess. Like the actual frames of the animation might have more like subtlety in them that you might be able to kind of like notice more. So
They
than
could
on
give them
the
more
NES.
variety too. Like I'd say, I'd argue that like for the NES, like when Great Tiger does his teleporting in a circle, that was pretty wild. But like I just mentioned, Heike Gagero isn't that the guy with the stick, the old man with the stick? I think he's got some crazy.
I forgot his name, but he's the one I was actually thinking about.
And Dragon Chan, who jumps off the corner ropes like a wrestler at certain points, which is really crazy.
Rockets around with like flying.
So there's a lot more enemies. There's a lot more variety of enemies.
Right. So
You
there's
know?
like moves that are harder to read because they're more complex and dynamic.
Yeah, and
honestly, I'd only ever heard of Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I didn't know there were other Punch Out games.
There is also one for the Wii.
Oh man, the Wii
that is
one
phenomenal.
so good. The Wii one's so good.
I would say the Wii one is like almost a direct sequel to this one.
When you flash that game, the first thing I thought of was the color of his gloves in this game. Because I don't know, there's something you made the point about the cartoony graphics of the Super Nintendo, and obviously I believe Little Mac has had the neon green gloves since Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but I don't know, you're bigger first of all in Super Punch Out, and so your fists are bigger, and so they have this awesome neon green gloves that just like I just remember them so vividly as a child. I don't know, there's something about what's it, synesthesia, where you can sort of like smell colors or whatever. Like whenever I see those green, I'm like, oh yeah, it's my childhood.
Well, Punch Out was originally an arcade game, and your character Mac was normal size, the size of the other enemies, and there a bunch of these enemies were in it. It was a dual cabinet, Nintendo cabinet. And you were like a see-through frame. Your character was, and you were like a normal size. And so when they went to the NES, I think they wanted to kit it up a little bit, make it kind of fun.
But then when you get right to the Super Punch Out, you're pretty big again. And then obviously in that Wii one, you're basically full size.
Made more sense. And then Donkey Kong showed up.
Man, oh my god, I forgot about that.
In the Wii version,
the Wii Punch Out had so much style and personality. Like it's worth just watching a Let's Play on YouTube because it is so damn entertaining, even just to observe.
Yeah, it's
the NPCs in Punch Out get a lot of flavor in Super Punch Out as well. The just, you know what I mean, like the dances that they have them do are funnier, and they get more sound chip. You know what I mean,
intros and whatnot.
Yeah, it's part of Punch Out as the silly you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. Yeah. That's part of the fun. Memorizing all the dun, 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 dun. That's King Hippo's entrance music, right? Like,
yeah. That's a good ass game. And it's interesting to call it puzzle adjacent as well.
Well, and that's not how we categorize it at retro, but
that's going to be my question is how would you categorize, Punch Out, Super Punch Out?
We're gamers and we get it, right?
We're fucking gamers. We fucking get it.
There's a difference. There's a difference between Tiger Woods golf and Mario golf. Right. There's a difference between a NCAA football game and Blitz. So we have two sports categories. One is real sports, what you'd call simulation sports, and one is what we call fun sports. Fun sports contains all the games that are more fun, like Mario Tennis and Super Punch Out, Mike Tyson's
sports,
Punch
which
Outs.
are boring.
I'm sure the simulation sports have something to take up with that description. All right.
Look, we have a very small amount of subscribers that actually choose real sports, simulation sports as their thing.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, the value's so low on those, they pretty much just get an extra game for free in their box every month. So pro tip, kids, if you want to get a free extra game in your box every month, select real sports because.
But then it's a sports game.
Exactly.
But
so
it
it's
costs
like
nothing. It costs
it doesn't
for free.
To be perfectly honest, it doesn't eat up like any internal value when our system calculates what games you're like. All right, and here's an extra $1.50 to get NCAA football 2012. You know it. But fun sports is separated out for exactly that because fun sports is way more popular of a category.
Yeah, cartoony sports.
Yeah.
That's tight. Awesome. I love that game. Thank you so much. Go to www.retrogametreasure.com. Make your account, start collecting today. When we come back,
nice pick.
We're going to be talking about Tetris and how it's very old. All right, we'll be right back.
Hey.
Perfect.
Gabby J!
Yay!
Okay, and we're back. We're back. And hey, listen, news story. Tetris. Tetris turns 40 years old this week. Honestly, I thought it. I thought Tetris was older because I don't know.
Honestly.
You know what I mean? It seems like it's always existed for all of eternity as far as
Thanks,
my
Mac.
brain works. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So yeah, Buck brought this to my attention, but I'm gonna peek behind the curtains because we'll just talk about it now. Hey, listen, we were going to talk about Metroidvanias when we were going to talk about Animal Well because upon first glance, Animal Well seems very much so. I mean, it is a Metroidvania? Question mark.
For sure.
But then
It so is.
Buck brought to my attention, hey, listen, Tetris is turning 40, and I said, dang, that's pretty interesting. We could talk about that as well. And I said, you know what? We can still talk about Animal Well because, God damn it, as far as I'm concerned, that game is also a puzzle game.
It's a puzzle box, man. The whole game is a big puzzle box just waiting to be solved.
Fucking Hellraiser's fucking little cube, as far as I'm concerned, because once you put that bitch up, once you pick it up, can't put it down. But I digress. Our first topic of conversation is Tetris. That's actually the one I remember more. That's so funny there. Tetris, man, arguably the king of video games as far as sales, number of people that have played it, fucking the simplicity yet the masterful extent. Like the ceiling is higher than you can imagine, and yet
Tetris
the floor
sold
is
a lot of Game Boys, kids.
It showed a lot of Game Boys. It sold a lot of games.
It might as well be the most well-made game of all time in a lot of ways. Like it's really the perfect video game, kind of.
I wrote in my notes here, Tetris is the only game that you can play anywhere and no one will bat an eye. That is
fair.
Wow.
That's
a fair assessment.
No matter what age you are, no matter as long as you're not like at a funeral. And then honestly, maybe even.
But Grandma loved Tetris.
Yeah, right. You could just be like, because if someone walks up to you and be like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" You just go like, "Playing Tetris." They go, "Oh, okay." I know that. It's
my
not
mother.
Like go on.
Amazing at Tetris. Like
you
in
know
her
what?
30s.
Take some brain power,
bro.
I feel like everyone knows someone that's amazing at Tetris. Mine is Casey Daigle, Buck. My babysitter, who was Buck's friend in school. She was phenomenal at Tetris, and I remember playing the I can't remember the name of that Tetris. I think it was just called Tetris Sphere for the N64.
Yes, Tetris Sphere. Yeah.
Boy, that was a really hard
one. That one was crazy. Yeah.
That was cool.
Trying to be like 10 years old and trying to play Tetris Sphere with Casey Daigle, and she's much better than me. That was really, really, really hard game. But yeah, this is a universally loved game, about as close as you can get. It's been reiterated upon as many times as you can count. Fun fact, as of January 2010, the Tetris franchise has sold more than 107 million copies.
Insane.
Of Tetris.
You know what's funny of that? The stat that I found that says that somewhere around 30 million of that is accounted for just by the original Tetris.
Yeah.
Like just
That's
by
incredible.
Tetris, like NES and Game Boy Tetris.
I found something that says 70 million physical copies and 100 million copies for cell phones because it's so simple. Of course, you get the Nokia, boom, you get Tetris. Yeah. Absolutely.
It was the killer app for the Game Boy. It was the killer. It single-handedly made sure that the Game Boy won.
I mean, I didn't take notes to get into it. There's literally been now a movie that has released that covers the history of Tetris. I think most people who are hardcore gamers probably already know the history, and if you don't know, you could see that movie. But it involves literally like the state of Russia being involved with the economics of America and Japan. But man, I mean, as far as being a staple of gaming, I wanted to talk about the many games that probably wouldn't exist if Tetris didn't exist.
Oh, sure. That's a very good point. I think you could compile quite a list.
There's a bigger list than I thought.
when you say quite the list, it would be huge because there's so many that are good, but there are actually like tons that are bad as well.
Sure.
Famously, you got Hatris. Buck, I don't know if you ever come
into. How about Wordtris?
Yeah.
Oh no.
In Hatris, you stack different shaped hats to make
Wordtris. You spell simple words.
I think there's
like Tetris. but with hats.
Oh my God!
There's a guy at a meeting table like, all right, so my cousin really loves hats, and he also really loves Tetris, and I'm thinking, what if we combine these two things and we make Tetris?
All right, let's call it tet hats.
You're
no,
working,
that doesn't have a
you're
right
working
ring
too
to it.
hard. It's Tetris, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna pull a Raph here. That screams first draft energy to me.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
fucking
100%.
It was they pulled the Stephen King. It's a
a
new hat puzzle game.
Yeah.
You
Ooh.
stack hats. Yeah,
Hats.
Right.
Steve, you're a fucking
it's
genius.
it.
You're a fucking.
Have it on my desk by Monday.
Yeah, it's called it.
Put the hat on top of the hat, and they stack. They make a stack. You make enough of them, they break.
Oh, just like hats in real life. That makes so much
right.
sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was gonna ask my my co-hosts some of their maybe preferred favorite puzzle games that are almost like in my head I was thinking they're like an arcade puzzler, right? Like Tetris is about scoring, right? It's about getting points. It's about clearing lines. Very good. Thank you. Buck, why don't you kick us off since you did that hilarious Beavis and Butthead reference? What are some of your favorite puzzle-y Tetris-inspired games?
The puzzle-y arcade game, I'm stealing the same one Venny was going to talk about. We can talk about it together, and that's Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo.
I was going to talk about it as well. I got multiple on my list. I mean, fucking love this game.
There's lots of puzzle games, right? But if you want to say it stemmed from Tetris, I'd say it has to be objects coming from the top of the screen and getting, that columns. Games that follow that same same
things
modus,
where you stack things and then you can delete them.
Back during this time, almost every game came with a beautiful manual.
Yeah,
and since it's Puzzle Fighter, this is a Capcom game, so you've got this awesome like chibi Capcom character art.
This is a copy of Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo that Mr. Venacore
for the PS1, which they also made for Dreamcast, and it was an arcade game on I think the CPS2 boards.
And it was for the Game Boy Advance, might I mention. My favorite port. Yes.
I played it a lot. In fact, that's probably the version I own because I played the crap out of that in college. We also had that arcade machine at our arcade in UCF, college too. Yeah. So to unlock like Devil-Lot and Dan. Were the unlockable were the hidden characters. Dan's puzzle pattern was like all red.
It was like, so awful.
Yeah.
So you could only win against someone if you just hit him with a giant combo.
Yeah. So the way this game worked, if you've ever played, there are certain versions of Tetris where when you clear a line, you can push extra lines of garbage to other players in a versus match, for example. So Puzzle Fighter took this to sort of like the next level. First of all, you are Street Fighter and Darkstalkers characters, which is tight. But they all drop bricks in a pattern, as Buck just alluded to, because in Puzzle Fighter, they don't remain trash forever. After a certain number of bricks you drop goes by, those trash blocks will become viable, killable blocks.
They have like a timer on them.
What was really kind of cool about Puzzle Fighter, the design and how the colors kind of worked is, 4 colors, red, blue, green, yellow. And whenever you would get a cluster, they were these gems actually. And whenever you would get a cluster,
they would get big.
Would turn into these large crystal, gems, large crystal gem structures. And then if you found the correct,
breaking gem.
It's funny.
It's like a ball.
Yeah, some arcade place we went to in Sanford like last week had Puzzle Fighter, and I played Puzzle Fighter in an arcade like a week ago.
Yeah, what's cool is when you match the breaker ball to whatever color, it will snake all around for every color that is touching, in contiguous order and bust them all, and you could create combos, etc.
Right, because blocks will drop and then stack other blocks and doubles.
Every character has a pattern that they will drop on the other player. A fixed pattern.
What they were talking about was whenever you do a big burst, you will drop a certain pattern of blocks on your opponent, which is governed by what character you are. And so Dan's was all red.
So it was countering it.
So
but if you know that like Chung-Li drops,
you'd have this massive gem in the center of your screen of red, so you'd be hankering for a red breaker block.
But like against like Chung-Li, if you knew the middle section was like blue, you could counter that by playing your blues in there or drawing a line of blues so you could snake to it. You also would get a random.
That's a good point.
You would also get a multicolored diamond randomly that whatever you dropped it on Pokemon and would destroy every gem of that color, but it wasn't worth a lot to fight against your opponent.
If you check out our esports episode, you can hear me talk about playing Jabali in the final rounds of the OVGA tournament for Super Puzzle Fighter 2 and just barely lose. No.
There is an adjacent game to Puzzle Fighter. It was Gem Fighter, I believe, that they made also.
Using the same called Pocket Fighter.
Pocket Fighter, that's it. And they used the same chibi characters. It was so weird because it was the same chibi characters, and they were controlled by like AI and by the strengths you gave them, by the gems you gave them. So it wasn't like a true fighting game, but it used these same chibi characters that weren't used in like anything else.
Pocket Fighter was actually a full fighting game. Like it was.
There was a mode for that, yes, but there was like an AI mode that was there was.
When did Puzzle Fighter come out? I'm like, I was curious about it just because I feel like I'd never actually heard of this game, never played it.
Oh gosh,
I had it in my notes and I deleted it because I was going to talk about it, but then these guys both were like, "Oh,
it's okay, it's worth it to spend a few more.
It says 1996, 1997.
That's about right.
And
I would have played it in arcades in college around 2000-ish. So.
Okay, because I'm just getting an Android game that's like keeps coming up when I look for it. That's
so they released it. Capcom. It was so weird. Capcom released it on iOS and Android for like 6 months, and then they were like, "Hey, no one's downloaded it. We're ending service for this game," and now it's gone. You like can't get it. It was so weird.
Oh wow! Could you play people over the internet with? That's a great idea.
Fucking cool,
That's
man.
a great.
You can find Super Puzzle Fighter, this game that we're talking about. You could find it in some of these Capcom bundles that are coming out.
Yeah.
For
it's a great
console and
great puzzle.
Well,
and
I think I saw it on Steam. I think I saw it on Steam.
Yeah, I never got good enough to do what Buck is talking about, but that is so true. That in the sense that you can predict the drop pattern of your opponent, and therefore you can fight them in the sense that you can choose to lay your bricks in a way that will be opposed to when they brick you.
Not to give him more attention, but this is the reason why my wife and Alex still don't get along to this day, because we're poor college students. It's the only game she would play in the arcade there. She would drop in her 50 cents to play it. He would walk up, drop in his 50 cents, beat the shit out of her, and turn to her and say, "Girls can't play video games. You shouldn't." And he's still
canceled.
She still to this day gives him shit all the time.
Funny.
So $1.99 on Steam by Capcom Arcade Second Stadium Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. $2 on Steam.
There you go.
Go get it if you haven't fucking played it. Yeah,
it's not even on sale. It's not even on sale.
Puzzle Fighter whoops.
Well, it's a
$2.
20, 30. It's a 30-year-old game.
Puzzle game where you play as chibi Capcom fighter characters.
28 years old.
The little animations when like Kuma throws his Hadouken is great. Raph, hey, what puzzle games have you enjoyed throughout your life as a gamer, sir?
Well, since we're talking about Tetris, I had one specifically that is a puzzle game that I played a lot growing up and was also Tetris-like, and that's Kirby's Avalanche.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah,
see, now I don't remember this at all. I don't know this. Yeah, I don't remember
I feel like I'm the only, for the longest time, I thought I was the only person that I'd heard about this game. And then I saw it show up on the Switch, like on the...
What about Kirby's Dream Course? Did you play that too?
I love Kirby's Dream Course.
I've never played that, but I have heard of that one.
It's kind of like a puzzle game. Oh, but this is clearly, I see now.
No, this is definitely...
No, Kirby's Avalanche.
It's competitive Tetris, but with Kirby. But it was a lot of fun, man. You're just dropping these little blobs down. You're trying to line them up and break them. And Kirby's looking super cute on the cover there. He looks super cute on the cover. Looks super cute in the game.
Very nice.
Really colorful, bright game. Too.
The bi-color, bi-gem system that's just like Puzzle Fighter. That's just like Dr. Mario. That's just like...
So getting ready for this episode, I found out that this was actually the only, I think, the only Kirby release that actually was never released in Japan. It was only released, I think, in the U.S. and in Europe.
Interesting.
There's a really big puzzle. There's a really big puzzle series in Japan that's popular called Panel del Pon. They got tons of them. Basically, if you ever played Pokemon Puzzle League for the N64, it's basically that game, but they would slap any theme or anime on it that would let them license it, and they would release it 40 times over there, and we rarely got them here.
That's so interesting that they because it seems like you just drop sort of jellies, like random jellies, and they were like, fuck it.
Puyo Puyo's another one that was really
jellies
popular around
put Kirby in it, and then we'll call it a Kirby game, release it in Europe and America, and we'll fucking.
It was hella fun, honestly. It was a good time. It was just a little hard, as a kid playing. It was very difficult, but it was fun that you could play against like somebody, sit next to somebody and play it. It was cool. Nice. Good game.
Mr. Venicor, puzzle game.
Yeah, and Buck, one quick little caveat. I was kind of reading through. It looks like Super Puzzle Fighter 2, or rather, Pocket Fighter and Super Gem Fighter are actually the same game. It's actually the same game.
Yeah, I thought it was a name thing. Yeah,
it is a name thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so in the most unlikely of places, Super Puzzle Fighter is probably at the top of the pile for me as far as puzzle games go. But there are a couple that I've really fond memories of, and it all centers around our favorite Nintendo dinosaur Yoshi. Because on the original NES, there was a puzzle game called Yoshi, and it was really cool because it was this game where you know the Yoshi egg, the little spotted Yoshi egg.
Yeah.
So it would drop these pieces. I don't remember too terribly much about this game, but it would drop like the bottom half of the
Yoshi's
and
cookie.
Yoshi. I see.
And then you would stack the puzzle pieces on top, and then when you get the top of the egg, it would all compress down into a Yoshi egg, and then a Yoshi would hatch. And that's like how you would score points and clear the board and stuff like that.
In Japan, they call that Yoshi no Tamago, which is just Yoshi's egg.
Yoshi's egg, yeah. Yeah. And then after that one, many years later, there was Yoshi's Cookie.
Love this game.
Yoshi's Cookie was NES and Super Nintendo, right?
And Game Boy as well.
And Game Boy. That's what we had it for.
Yeah, Yoshi's Cookie was cool. You know that tin of holiday cookies that you get that they're all in little cup. They're all
the sewing needles,
little cupcake holders.
That's like really what they are. It's like not even
and like the little cute they're like the cute pattern cookies and the little flower shaped
checkerboard,
the checkerboard cookies,
raspberry jam dippers.
Yeah.
It must have had them in Japan too.
You had those cookies, and those were the puzzle pieces in Yoshi's Cookie.
Yep. This is really cute. I've never played this game.
Those are fun. Different Tetris puzzle games as well too, which inspired an entire genre of puzzle games. I mean, shoot.
Those bring back a lot of good memories. And of course, we already kind of touched on Puyo Puyo. We've seen 100 iterations of that. That one is a fantastic PvP puzzle game. I think Puyo Puyo might be one of the best.
Now, I haven't played any Puyo Puyo.
We get those a lot for Super Famicom. So if you get imports and you choose puzzle games with our service, you can get a Puyo Puyo game pretty easily. It's when you talk about like Japanese light, like you don't need to be able to read any Japanese to be able to play a puzzle game, right?
Right.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
And they make all these themed Puyo games. That's really
there's
cool.
tons of them. Yeah.
That's
there's
really
a lot
cool.
of them.
Those are fun.
There's a lot of them.
For myself, did you have anything else you wanted to mention, Mr. Venicor, or may I?
Other than that, Tetris Attack. My mom and I used to play that a lot.
That's a fun one.
I will
Tetris
finish
Attack.
this off then.
I was gonna say I've got some other puzzle games that I bet Venny liked and played too, and you.
Let me. I think I can cap this off here. But what do you have, Buck? Could you have one more that you want to mention?
One that you'd want to play with me.
Go ahead.
Intelligent Cube.
Oh wow! I never played it.
Now that's interesting that you consider that like a Tetris inspired, like because it's almost
turn it sideways.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
It's on the cusp. I'll say that. If you haven't played Intelligence Cube, listener at home, you play a gentleman on a 2D plane that you're viewing from overhead, and cubes are like falling.
They're like rolling
at you,
one side at a time.
It's the precursor to what's that game where you're in that girl's head? It's the Atlas game.
Oh gosh.
Oh my goodness, I can't remember. But you during the
day
you
Catherine?
Yes, Catherine.
Yes, it is.
Really?
Catherine would be vertical. It's
it's
this
made
is
by
like a
the same
horizontal
guys,
version of
I think,
Catherine.
even. Yeah,
with the Parappa ad on the inside. Yeah, the cubes,
game.
Like he said, they come at you, and there's a whole thing where some of them are green, which means they can be detonated. Some are gray, which means they can be blown up by the detonated ones, and some are black, which means they can't be blown up. And the thing is, you have to make it so that your little guy is running around on the platform while you're doing this. So you have to make it so there is a way for your guy to survive and move around these cubes as they slowly topple one side to the next until they topple off the end of it. So think of a Tetris board, but laid down flat. They would be coming at you from one direction, right?
It's very interesting.
Man, I remember this.
Different take on something similar, I think.
Very, very OG PS1. My game, when I think of Tetris, I think of arcade puzzling, as I said before. And then when I think of arcade puzzling, I think of a game that's not very much like Tetris, but it's definitely a arcade game that is a puzzle game. It's Bust a Move. That's right.
Oh, okay.
The Bubble Bobble
love that
universe game. Bust a Move.
That's
AKA,
very arcadey puzzle game.
AKA Puzzle Bobble,
Puzzle
as
Bobble,
it's known in Japan.
Puzzle Bobble.
Like I said, it's a Bubble Bobble game, but Bubble Bobble games are more like Mario. Like
it has Bub and Bob in it.
It does have them in it, but besides that, it's just it's them making a puzzle game for whatever reason. So this is a Taito game. We've talked about Taito before, but this was made in 1994. And this is one that, Buck, you're talking about the arcade. I just played this the other day. It's like, this is one where if I see Bust a Move in an arcade, I'm playing that bitch.
It was usually an MVS cart.
Oh,
That's true, right? The Neo Geo, is that what we were talking about? Yeah.
Yep.
I would see it in there all the time, and that's a great one to have in there. You play as Bub and Bob, as Buck was alluding to, these little dragon characters from this series, and they're just sitting down at the bottom of the screen, and one of them is like manning this cannon that's got like a little crank on it, and then the other one is like next to a big bag, like a Santa baggie, and he's like pulling out gems. Just like all these games, you're shooting colored gems. Yeah. So he's pulling out the gems, and instead of them falling, you are shooting them up. And if you're a noob like myself, you maybe play with the little guidelines on, but it kind of becomes like bumper bowling.
Still hard, even with that.
You're trying to match colors up to one another. So it's basically you'll have like a stack of purples, and then a purple will come out of the bag and get launched. You'll see it in your cannon, and you'll try to ricochet it off the walls or maybe do a direct hit. And part of the strategy puzzle of it all comes in the fact that you can see what the next color is going to be. Like you have the color that's physically loaded in the cannon in that moment, but you can also see the color that's queued up, because sometimes
kind of like in Tetris.
You can see the next cue, but because you don't always have the most advantageous color. But it's got this adorable it's got bright colors. It's a very, very kid friendly. Yeah, the popping, I can't emulate that sound, but it's a very fantastic, stimulating, like when you break a big thing, and you can, if bubbles are hanging off of other bubbles that are attached to the ceiling, you can actually disconnect them all by shooting the ones that attach them. So there are certain levels that you can
that's the strategy,
solve faster if you know, like, oh no, you gotta stall for a red so you can bounce it off the left-hand wall and get to the red and knock everything down.
Yes.
Great puzzly arcade game that I love. Buck, did you have any other ones that you wanted to talk about?
I think we need to have a whole other episode on just puzzle games in general, and not
I think that's fair
Tetris
as well.
adjacent puzzle games.
I think that's fair as well. So after this, we're going to take a quick break. And after this, we're going to talk about Big Mode's Animal Well.
What are you doing?
Oh, a new character?
Now he's putting on his art snob.
Gentlemen.
He's an art snob now.
Gentlemen, we're back.
The snob hat!
Oh, it's his snob hat. I see.
Of course.
It's a snob beret.
Gentlemen, every once in a lifetime, you play a video game that moves you on the inside. Animal Well is a fantastic work of art. Hello, my name is Max Stein, and video games are art. I'm wearing my snob hat because today we're talking about Animal Well, Big Mode's May 9th, 2024 classic, Billy Blasso, video game donkey, coming in clutch, making a Metroidvania puzzle game that made me go, oh, many times.
Yes.
This game has a 90 score on Metacritic, a 9 out of 10 from IGN, GameSpot, Game Informer, a 10 out of 10 from Destructoid, a 5 out of 5 from Eurogamer, and a 90 out of 100 from PC Gamer. This game is very, very good.
Damn well deserved, honestly.
And it has many things to say about you. Buck, I'd like to first toss the gauntlet to you and see, what are your thoughts on Animal Well?
So we were talking about just Metroidvanias in general, which I know we're doing on a separate episode, but because you checked it out, Raph, it gave me serious Axiom Verge
Oh yeah,
vibes,
no, for sure. Yeah.
right?
The
And led to a greater extent Metroid
classic.
1.
Classic Metroid, yeah. The
Yes.
non-linearity of it, for sure.
Very, very dark, very by yourself.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I can't show you that screen. That's spoilery. That one's not bad though.
Should we maybe start off with just a general spoiler warning? If you haven't played this game, we're probably going to talk about stuff that you may not want to know. Just
at the very least, some items. We will probably talk about some items.
Yeah,
and
yeah, a
usage
couple
of
of
items
things.
and
Animal Well is the type of game that, in our discussion here, we're going to talk about maybe items you get, maybe places you go. This game is like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I could tell you that Vanilla Ice cuts his own head off to become a vampire, but that's not a spoiler because you have to see what I just said in order to see what I just said. Just like Animal Well.
Ninja.
I can tell you that there's dogs in the game that you got to get a frisbee to distract, and that sounds like one thing. But when you play what I just said, your brain will think that you're a smart person that can do smart big things in a creative space.
I smart person. I not smart person.
This game, if you haven't played it, maybe don't listen to this. I don't know. If you don't want to play it and you just want to listen to us talk about it because you like us, that's fantastic. But listen.
Whoa, I just found the stopwatch. Hold on. Continue. Sorry, I was playing in the end game here.
This go ahead and stack off of your commentary there and tell us how you feel about Animal Well, how you feel.
First, I'm not going to say what happens, but just jump and then hold the jump button for a few seconds. You'll see what I'm talking about. But this game, honestly, man, we played it together.
Yeah,
yeah, right. Yeah, okay. I'm not.
No, audience,
don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Just do it.
I just did.
You just got to see what Animal Well does. Right.
I know the
right
character
now.
I know what game that character's from.
Yeah. There goes Vinny getting a Switch. Honestly, it's really great to play with a friend because we played it together basically, and there was just so many like holy shit moments. Like I discovered something. Oh, what did you find? Okay, it's over here. Okay, all right, and just sharing it just the sense of like exploration that this game gave me was just I felt it right here. There was the moment the other day when we were playing together and I was messing with the flute because spoiler alert, there's a flute and the flute is kind of your fast travel method. But we found, I don't know what we were doing. Like we were both trying to figure something out with the flute. And then I started messing with the flute and I ended up all of a sudden warping to somewhere that I don't know what song I played to do it. I didn't know where I was initially. And I was sitting there like, what happened?
Accidentally warped himself.
I accidentally warped myself.
To the teleporter room? To the
No.
Another one of the other ones.
Another room, and I won't even say where it is. You know what? I'm not going to tell you. Figure it out.
Yeah.
I did see some of the flute codes around, but I didn't.
I had to look it up afterwards to see what I did. But I found because of doing this, I found an egg. Because again, just esoteric as hell. You have to collect eggs in this game at some point. A lot of eggs. It's kind of a big Easter egg hunt, sort of, in a lot of ways.
A peacock egg hunt, if you will.
Yeah, there's even a bunny. There's even a bunny that you chase.
There's
the
bunny. Yeah.
Is all over.
What do I do with the stopwatch?
Well, you definitely have to stop.
That was cool.
Watching the game for sure, and engage in the conversation.
Oh, you're no fun.
Yeah.
There's no better way to experience Animal than to experience it, and I guess these two are experiencing it, right?
Oh, he's playing his flute.
That beautiful sound you hear is the Animal Well flute in action.
I actually love that flute sound. It's fantastic.
I really enjoyed how the game did the whole. It really took to the nth degree the Mega Man. Those are the Hammer Bros. It didn't over-explain anything.
Oh hell no! Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
It didn't.
Right. Okay. Yes.
It didn't have to give you a tutorial. It was either intuitive or you had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Literally one of the two. Every item, it was like crapshoot. It was like
just like life.
It was like, here's this item. Oh, it makes a lot of sense how you use the bubble.
Want to see something cool? Whenever you change your item, look at the color of the PlayStation Portal controller.
Oh shit,
that's
that's
neat.
tight.
Yeah.
It's
The
changing
item
colors. For those
the
of you who are
item
just
color
listening.
reflects
Oh
the
fuck, that's
glow
sick.
of the system.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I've heard the PS5. If you played on the PS5, it does the same thing with the light up on the top there. Yeah,
if you
that's
play it
kinda
on the
cool, yeah.
Switch, you can not only touch the screen in order to draw on it, you can shake it, and all of the flora and fauna will shake and move in the foreground, in the background.
Yeah, if there's a touch screen. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Like, we're just gushing about all the weird secrets in this game.
Whoa, there's
really,
other stuff
really
you could
gotta
do if
go
you
out
touch
and
the screen.
play it. Yeah, you really got to go out and just play the damn thing because it really begs to be experienced at the end of the day. But it's definitely up in my top 5 favorite games ever now. Like after playing it, after I beat it because you
There's
can
a
beat
lot
the game
more. Yes.
right. You
Yeah.
can beat the game in like 6 hours, but I want
Yeah.
to say maybe like 80% of the game happens after the credits roll.
What?
Yeah,
Okay,
dude.
wow,
Yeah,
wow,
dude.
I've been playing. How long have you guys been playing the game? I've been playing for 22
6 hours.
hours.
I beat it, and then I was
That's
like, okay, it was a
fantastic.
fun
Oh,
Metroidvania,
dude.
but I
Oh,
stopped.
my God,
Only
no.
like
I've been
4
playing for
hours. I was
22 hours.
playing it with
Yeah,
my son.
bro. Me and Raph are like rocking
Wow.
that almost 30 hours.
I have 47
I
eggs.
brought this hat out because I mean business.
Yeah.
Mr. Venecor, I'd like to hear you quickly summarize your thoughts. Being you're playing for maybe 5 hours, you said, or so, 6 hours, something like that.
Yeah, I'm curious
No,
to see
like
how
like
you
4 or
guys
5 hours. Yeah, so like I've just been playing it periodically with my son, like when we have some time together, and just sitting next to the little guy and like finding all the cool little things. And oh, Daddy, what's that? Oh, I think that's a dog. Oh yeah, we have to throw the frisbee for the dog.
Oh fuck, yep, that's a dog. Oh fuck that dog.
Fuck that
Daddy.
dog.
You know, I didn't even think about that. That is the perfect game to play with your kids because
It's a great game to play with my son because it's like it requires no explanation. There's no question that he could possibly ask me that the screen didn't, that the game itself didn't just explain everything you need to know.
That's an excellent point.
And that's the beautiful thing about a game like this.
Daddy, what is that, son? I don't know.
Right. No,
and I might never find out.
Why? Because Daddy can't make the jump. It's a hard platformer. It's got
Daddy needs the slink, and he didn't find it the first go around.
All right, listen.
That's the first item I found.
the first
That
time
was like literally
So
the last one I found.
this game, this masterpiece by Billy Blasso that he took 7 years to craft. One of the things I wanted to comment on is that it is written in a C++ coding of his own creation.
Oh yeah, dude.
So this gentleman did not make this game
too,
in Unity. This guy did not make this game in Valve's Unreal Engine or whatever. This game is how many megabytes, Raph?
33, 35 around there. Yeah.
I don't have
There is promo
right
art
now.
for this game that is bigger than the game itself.
So the on the it was free on the PS5, obviously.
Yes.
You guys, yeah. So the 4K background that you get for the game, or that you can get for the game, is actually a larger file size than the game itself. So they did an interview with Billy Blasso about like how did you, like, they asked him like basically like how'd you get it to be so so small, and he was like, yeah, I did it in my own engine that I built. I didn't do it, I used my own tools. There's no bloat from, using Unity, like setting up an empty Unity project. Like if you've ever tried to build a game in Unity, it's like, I think it's like 500 megabytes, like minimum or something like that. 5
Just
gigs
with all
maybe.
the metadata alone, basically.
Right. Yeah. Right. But yeah, just doing it in his own engine, he was able to make this tiny little game that runs perfectly, using, just
there's no latency at all. You go from screen to screen and you are fucking instantly wherever you were in the previous screen, you are there now in the screen above yourself, in the screen
even
to
on
the left.
Switch.
Even on the Switch. The native resolution of this game is something hysterically small. Like it's incredible how tight the game is what I'm saying.
That's part of the charm.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. It's no. You just look up from the fucking game.
I want to know where to go now.
Really is a very charmed right now.
You can't put it down.
That's
the
honestly
thing,
that's
know?
that. Yeah. When I picked it up, I also could not put this fucking game down. It is listed on Donkey's website as a horror open well puzzle game.
I see
it's
all of that,
not
yeah.
listed as a Metroidvania. He lists it as a horror game and a puzzle game. This game has the most interesting lo-fi vibes. Most games have to show you what they are. They have to tell you what to do, right? With some sort of tutorial, with some sort of visual language. You've heard me talk about Super Metroid if you've listened to the show before, probably, and I love its ability to communicate things without speaking. This game is the Rosetta Stone of silence. It says so many things without any language at all. It reminds me of a game by Andrew Scholdice, a game called Tunic, which Raph just recently has been playing through, which I beat, I think in the very first episode of the Game Treasure podcast, I talked about this game. But it is an isometric adventure game that is Metroidvania-esque.
Yeah.
It's Zelda-esque, right? You've got weapons and items that you need to go collect to get through gatekeeping areas of the adventure, so to speak.
It's a Zeldavania, if you will.
If you will.
That's just called Diablo.
On top of being a Zeldavania, it also doubles down with its puzzly aspects, with including like things like ARG puzzles. There is a puzzle in Animal Well that is a rabbit on the wall. It is a light bright display of a rabbit that's on the wall, and when you find a certain item, you can access a certain area that will let you get to the controls of that screen.
Yeah.
And then later in the game, you find your portion of that screen. What?
Yeah.
That's right.
That's some Silent Hill 2 shit right there.
I got to a point in this game where I said, I can't. I'm too stupid to find anything else. I finally hit that wall after 30 hours, right?
That's fair.
And so the intentions of this rabbit puzzle. This isn't spoilers because I don't know what piece you have. What's that? That's right. If you go to this section of the map in your game, you will find your piece of the rabbit puzzle.
Yeah.
You need 49 other pieces that can only be found in other people's games.
So you need to get
How would I find
those?
those? I don't know. Go on the internet, talk to one another, discover this art piece, this magical Pandora's box of gaming, of puzzle, of mystery. It's asking you to reach out to your fellow gamers. This game, when you're young, the world has unique, unexpected, sometimes even scary surprises for you at every step of the way. Every milestone that you overturn leaves you with a sense of satisfaction and growth in real life and in Animal Well.
Yeah.
No two people's childhood experiences are quite the same. Even people that grow up in the same house, like Buck and myself. Just like Animal Well, Raph and I played this game together at the same time, and there were moments where we would have the same items and use them in different ways that would make each other go, oh shit, I would have never ever thought about that.
Yeah.
Just like the free exploration in Animals, some puzzle games make you feel stupid. Some puzzle games make you feel smart. Like Animal Well makes you feel Animal Well. That is the best way I can explain this game.
That's pretty accurate. I was looking at. It's funny. The first Axiom Verge game came out in 2015, which would have been a couple of years before the guy started creating Animal Well. Started working on Animal Well.
Interesting.
So I think he definitely enjoyed the vibe, the purples and blues, the vaporwares, the dark. Axiom Verge, though I wouldn't call it horror, it's Geigery, man.
Sure,
like,
Alien.
I'd call it horror.
Yeah, I guess
it's
so.
Scary as hell
sometimes. I mean, it's very if you thought Mother Brain was scary in Metroid, and how about like 9 Mother Brains? You know, like it's got a lot of shit like
Mother Brain.
So I kind of wanna like you guys have all gotten the first ending to Animal Well, right?
Right.
No.
You haven't. Okay.
No.
All right. So
Just
I
kidding.
shouldn't talk about this, but there is a moment near the end of like the end of Animal Well that actually made me feel genuine fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Chased by the kangaroo yet, Buck?
Oh, dude,
yeah.
There's the kangaroo.
Multiple
That's not
times.
even a spoiler. Yeah.
No. He shows up more than once.
Oh well, yeah.
Have
you encountered the ostrich for another.
Oh
terrifying.
He's
terrifying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Terrifying.
Yep.
The cat.
The wiener dog.
Ghost dog. Fuck the dog.
The ghost dog cat thing. Absolutely terrifying.
I have never.
That's the only time I almost rage quit in that game was when it took me like 19 tries. The first encounter with the ghost dog with the fake yo-yo.
Yep.
Oh, dude, I'm so proud of that. That thing took me like maybe 3 tries to get it right.
I'm with Buck. It took me 100 million.
Yeah, it was.
Tries.
I got so close so many times, and I just would make a little mistake every time. I was playing like a giant game of tag or something.
Did you have the whistle before you took on the cat?
I do not believe so.
Okay, so that made it a lot easier for me because then I could warp to the warp room and then I could walk somewhere else.
Yeah,
get the cat to be as far as possible.
Don't even listen. Don't.
Yeah, I can't even. Yeah.
Play Animal Well, and then tell your friend to play Animal Well, and then talk to each other about Animal Well, and you'll have the best 30 hours of puzzle Metroidvania gaming for me, because I have not played Yakuza Like a Dragon. What's the newest one? The Hawaii one?
Infinite Wealth?
Infinite Wealth. Since I have not played Infinite Wealth, this is my game of the year.
Yeah, no, this is a strong contender in my opinion for game of the year for sure.
It's very good. Like I was saying again, I'm going to keep comparing it to Axiom Verge because I'm going to say that's one of the closest Metroidvanias to this games that I've played. But Axiom Verge has a little more of a more traditional Metroid formula in good ways. Yeah. Whereas Animal Well, yes, but it's not like a primary aspect. Those items aren't used for combat; they're used for puzzles.
I think
you're talking about an Axiom Verge, or
yes, correct.
Yeah, I think it's more how in Axiom Verge the idea of like I'm okay with getting completely lost in this world. Right. And in Animal Well, I was 100% okay with just getting lost, even though it's not a big map. If you look at it, it really is not big. It's dense. As all hell.
Yeah.
Every room has several secrets in them. Yeah. And there's just a million things. Every room is its own little puzzle, its own little encounter. I think there's like 250 rooms in the game or something like that, 256. And apparently David Blasso had 500 other rooms that were left on the scrap room floor.
Jesus Christ.
What a fucking insane
I just
lad.
think he very much so elevated the level of puzzle engrossment in this game because it really made you think a lot. I mean, a lot. And there were a few times where I got to it and I thought, okay, am I stuck at this or do I need another item?
Or do I just need to, oh shit, I can throw the frisbee and then land on it and ride it.
Or I can do what with the yo-yo?
Yeah.
It makes them do
Gentlemen,
what?
I played this game for 25 hours before I realized you could shoot the bubble wand downwards. Did you know that?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, right. That's what I said.
That's exactly what I said. And I said, oh my God, Raph, this game is something else.
Oh my God, you can!
Megabuck is playing Animal Well.
I just got the notification.
Oh, that would have been so. It would have made so many puzzles easier.
Dude.
Son of a bitch.
There are others. There are other things where if I told you, you'd go, I could have done that the whole game, and I go,
oh yeah.
Yes. And you go, oh man, this game's good.
Not having the slink,
real good.
Not finding the slink until my last meant there were at least a good half dozen rooms that I couldn't progress.
We all approached this game totally differently. We progressed everything in different orders.
That's a sign of a good. That's a sign of a good Metroidvania. You know, I'll talk about on our Metroidvania episode. I'll talk about Metroid Dread, which is newest Metroid, but it is wholeheartedly a Metroidvania in the aspect of it kind of just points you in one direction. Yeah. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I never got lost, which was nice in a game where combat's important.
Right.
But it was a totally different feeling in this game when I got lost constantly.
Right. Right.
Nice
totally
shirt,
different
way,
from
Mark.
Super Metroid. You're by yourself in Super Metroid,
totally
but you
a bad
never
thing,
get
right?
lost. And I complimented on it's incredible that I never get lost, even though they don't tell me anything. Where in Animal Well, it's like, it's incredible that I just want to comb every inch of this fucking map for hours because it's so thick with.
But that's
puzzle,
how like I missed the slink because it was like there's 5 ways I could go, and I checked this one, I checked this one, I checked this one, I checked that one, and this one led to the route that gave that item.
And turns out there was a bush that you can just walk through, and you didn't know that, and
it's like it just happened. And there's plenty of other ways to progress and do other things.
The fanny pack. That's all I'm gonna say.
The fanny pack. Okay.
Wait, I don't have the fanny pack.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. You don't.
Yeah. You could get it where you are in the game right now.
I don't have enough eggs.
You don't need eggs.
No? Shit.
I won't tell you where it is. Hey, listen, Animal Well.
Look, we gotta find the fanny pack.
It's only $25.
I just found the stopwatch.
Yeah.
I picked it up and I found a squirrel that was like, here you go.
It's on the PlayStation Store. It's on the Switch. It plays great on the Switch. You're probably going to want to get it on the Switch unless you have a Steam Deck. Then you're going to want to get it on the Steam Deck, like Buck said. This game is fucking tight. I recommend it. Please go play it.
Do you think we can expect more from this guy? Do you think
so?
we're
I
gonna
fucking hope so.
I really hope so. Yeah.
Thomas Happ eventually made an Axiom Verge 2. I own it. I have not played it yet.
I hope so. I hope there's DLC. I don't know anything.
Don't know DLC. No, work on another game.
This
no,
is
make
amazing.
another game.
Yeah. I hope it just doesn't take him 7 years. All right. Listen, if that's all, I think we need to move on and just close out our episode here with our What Else You Got. We'll be right back.
Wait, but what does the fanny pack do?
We're back. We're back. And we're going to close out our show with our What Else You Got, where we can bring to the table anything, be it movie, book, video game, new socks, new whatever. Okay, listen, I'm excited because this week I have a movie that Buck, I think you should go see. It is called, I literally just saw it like a couple hours ago.
It's not Skinamarink 2, is it?
It is called In a Violent Nature.
I heard that movie was awesome. Okay,
dude,
it's on my list. So where did you see it?
In a movie theater.
I hate going to movie
Cinemark
theaters.
XD, whatever. No, dude, you must.
Cool.
You must for this movie because this movie, I saw it with my roommate, and he made an excellent point, which he said this is an ASMR horror movie. So you need the so the elevator pitch for this movie, which is directed by a guy named Chris Nash. I don't think he's done any other major motion pictures.
So.
This is an IFC Shudder joint. So
good, it'll be on Shudder soon.
Hella indie. So no, don't watch it. I really think you should go see this in theaters because
have you seen Hell House? I loved Hell House, and I watched that on my computer.
I really think you should go see this in theaters because the elevator pitch for this movie is that what if there was a Jason movie where the main character is Jason?
Yes, right.
So the entire movie,
you just got me interested.
Yeah.
It's a slasher movie at heart, right?
It is a slasher movie.
Yeah.
But the perspective of the film is, I'm gonna say 99% from like right here from Jason, like just like right behind him,
of the killer,
and it's just like it's all the things in Friday the 13th that you don't get to see. You know what I mean? Like where it's just like, what's Jason doing all day? Like where does he? You know what I mean? Like where does he? Sorry, what were you going to say?
Is this the one that when I heard about them filming it, they wanted to do a lot of first-person stuff, and they were afraid it was going to make the audience sick, and it did in testings, so they changed it to like you just said, over the shoulder?
I'm not sure. I don't know, but it is. There is a movie called Into the Void that me and Raph were talking about. That is very intense. This movie does that same thing by doing this over-the-shoulder shot for so long. It puts you in the driver's seat of being Jason, and it is fun. Gruesome.
That's cool.
It's fun, except for it's if a Jason, like if there was no comedic relief in a Jason movie, and there was just no soundtrack, there's no music.
I've seen Terrifier.
It's just the sound of the woods and the sound of this guy's heavy breathing.
That's terrifying.
And then just like the sounds of these kids demises,
dying,
but their demises, I'll say this, the movie thematically, nature, right? So
right.
my if I were to put my snob hat back on real quick, my theme that I got strongly from this movie is the fact that they are trying to solidify the Jason mythos as like a classic trope, like period. Like they're basically saying like Jason is like the Wolfman, like like he is so his myth is so strong that we are now going to dissect his films in such a way that like I cannot explain. You simply must go see it. So Buck, I highly recommend you as a Friday the 13th fan go see it, just because I would like to see what your take is. I almost might think you might think this is boring because there's it's if there's no filler, and so I want all the kills, and so then it's like, well, then the kills are really gruesome, and so you just mostly watch Jason walk around. It's gnarly. So I digress.
Benny's a killer main in Dead by Daylight. He'd love that.
Go see it in theaters if you can.
Man, yeah. I need somebody to go to a horror movie with me.
Yeah.
When's the last time I saw a horror movie in theaters?
You should go see this one. Yeah. Raph, what else have you got for us this week?
Well, I mean, you mentioned it. I've been playing Axiom Verge and a whole lot of Metroidvanias in preparation for next week. I obviously we thought it was going to be this week, so I ended up buying that Metroidvania bundle on Humble Bundle, and man, I have been powering through a couple of these, and I just I'm excited to talk about excited to talk next week's episode. Basically.
Yeah, Metroidvanias.
Yeah, Axiom Verge is fucking cool as hell, man. I had never,
great?
Yeah, I had never played this game, and actually, it took a second to grow on me too. I was like playing it, and I was like, "This is I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about the controls. I don't know how I feel about like the art style." And then it just all clicked. And I think it was when I started back up after going back into it like the second or third time. That animation for like the thing that you save
the egg
on,
thing,
and the way
so
it comes
good.
up, the pixel art for this is gorgeous.
Pixel art for like a giant rotating egg pod that's kind of like the save thing, like the save pod in Super Metroid.
It's so detailed and gorgeous, like just the smoothest animation. It's a really good
and that's
game,
the way a lot of the bosses are. They're just these giant pixel works of art.
Right, yeah. The boxes,
they're all like Kraid from fucking Super Metroid. They're all like these amazing, huge 8-bit structures.
Yeah, I can't wait to keep playing this. I can't wait to do next week's episode. I'm so excited about
one of my favorite genres.
What else have you got for us this week, sir?
Look what came in the mail today.
Buck is holding up a physical copy of Sea of Stars.
My Sea of Stars.
Nice
I am
copy,
8-bit.
Nice, buddy.
This
Very
is a sleeve that came with it. Came with the sleeve and a double-sided. It's got a map on one side and it's got like a giant motif on the other side of a bunch of characters, all a bunch of sprite artwork. And
mine only looks like that, but that's gorgeous. I love.
Well, that's my artwork on mine's different too.
Oh, yeah. The actual
mine's got the like the art.
Oh, that looks like Chrono Trigger art.
Yeah, it's like that style.
That's awesome.
That they did. It's
nice.
It's such a good game. I absolutely adored it.
Fantastic. That's a beautiful.
Glad to have a physical copy.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. I know you've been looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Then they got that Clock Tower one that's out now. The limited run just announced that. I forgot about Clock
You're
Tower.
You're the only person I know who would give a shit about that.
Okay. Clock Tower.
But I think you showed it.
Yeah.
I'm happy showed it
because you're happy.
One of the spoiler for a game that's 35 years old. One of the hooks is there's this giant fucking mutated monster at the end, and one of the things that comes in the special edition is a stress ball of the giant mutated monster.
That's
amazing.
I'm excited. They added cutscenes to it and all kinds of stuff. They added like a theme song. They added extended shit. It's the first time we've ever gotten it officially translated into English. It's only ever been fans translated.
So it's on that same pre-order website you showed us. The Animal pre-order was on, right?
Animal Well, same guys, limited run. I'm sure it'll be out. Regular editions, I'm sure will be out in physical, and I'm sure it'll be on Steam too.
I've always wanted to play it. I've never I love horror games, and I love that kind of like stalker enemy sort of horror game, and like I haven't played Clock Tower, and I've always wanted to play.
Very old school trial and error style gameplay, right?
Okay,
you're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna die, and then you're gonna start over the beginning and try something else to experience it all.
Mr. Venacore, have you got anything else for us this week, sir?
Not too much. Buck and I very briefly played the Smite 2 alpha over the weekend.
Oh shit,
which
nice.
Pretty cool.
It's purdy.
Yeah, it's very pretty. Doesn't mean we're any better at the game, but it's gorgeous.
we still suck.
Smite is that MOBA, right? Like it's the third person MOBA.
MOBA. Yeah, third person.
MOBA?
Yeah,
third person behind the back MOBA. It's actually a lot of fun.
I played the first Smite. That's good.
Which is like 11 years old now, so it was
crazy?
Time for them to.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Smite 2 is cool. And the only other thing is started playing Deceive Inc. again. It's this really cool spy espionage first-person shooter that it's an extraction shooter, but holy smokes, it's really, really it's fun and not stressful at all. After playing 300 hours of Hunt Showdown, Deceive Inc. feels like training wheels. It feels so damn easy. I think the other day there was a point where I won 4 solo games in a row, and I was like, nice. This is cool. I'm actually hitting shots, and it was cool. Anyway,
nice. Is that you playing that on PlayStation or on Steam?
PC.
Nice.
Yeah, good stuff. Nice. Yeah, Deceive Inc. Definitely.
Well, hey, listen, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Do us a huge favor and like and subscribe, won't you? And if you're just listening to this, why don't you head on over to Instagram or YouTube so you can see all this. So you can see the physical gags I do, what with the costume changes and the props and the King of Video Games and everything. You can also reach us via email if you maybe have, a question, or you want to give us some money, or you want to have a topic for an episode or something at gametreasurepodcast@gmail.com. You can find links to all this stuff and more. No, just all that stuff at linktree/the GTP. Join us next week. We already said it, where we'll be talking about Metroidvanias, aka search action games, as they're known in Japan.
Did not know that.
Yes. Yeah. And we want to thank Crunkwitch for the use of our theme song, Clash of the Droids. You can find them on Apple Music and Spotify and everywhere where you can find music on the internet. And of course, we would like to thank RetroGameTreasure.com. Owned and operated by the Megabuck himself. Retro Game Treasure is a subscription service that sends retro game collectors bespoke boxes of video games every month. All you have to do is go to www.retrogametreasure.com, set your profile preferences, and you'll receive boxes of games tailored to fill out your collection. That's right. Your personal settings make sure you always get new games that you will love each month. At least that's what you told him you love. RetroGameTreasure.com, obsessed with video games since 1985. Hit me with the new subscribers buck.
Aw, snap. This week we welcome Rowan Marshall, Jesse Pike, Christopher Hux, Ralph Warren, David Duff, Nathan Santos, Marshall Webster, William Surlis, Victor Diaz, Nathaniel Abram, Paul Ledbetter, Zachary Perez, and Nick Cioro.
Welcome to the crew. Thank you guys for subscribing. My name is Max Stein, and I love the Game Treasure podcast. It's so bad.
It's so bad.